Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Let me get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Let me get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me, or a hi if you can. Just please retweet, share this. Let's get as many people as we can. Prepare them for a strong trading week into next week. Just bear with me. I'm just gonna let the stragglers come on. I'm gonna start in just a little bit. I'm just setting up my computer right now. So let's just give it a couple of minutes. If you can, just like tweet, retweet, and then we'll get back on. We got a couple of people that come in and they want to kind of check out what we're about, and then they'll jump into other spaces. So I welcome everyone. You know what I mean? I'm not, everybody, we're all part of the collective. So we want to make sure that we're set up into next week. So just bear with me. Give me just a couple of seconds, and then we should start in just a little bit. Beautiful time to grab a pen, some notebooks. We want to write some key levels. This is the best time to do this. Just bear with me. I'm just connecting real quick. Okay, give me 1 second. All right, so let's start. First off, thank you everyone for joining. If you can, just please share this, retweet. I'm just going to start off with a brief disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. Anything that I say or mention is for educational purposes only. I may or may not hold some of the stocks that I mentioned. Please remember to do your own research before trading any stock or options. Trading stocks and options require lots of risk. So I just want to welcome everybody on this Sunday, October 24th, 2021. Going to give just a market overview. It was a strong week. We talked about the cycle date, October 20th, and it actually played out to perfection. We had a break on Bitcoin. We ended up seeing a new all-time high at that 67,000. We finally broke that 64,900 level. We're actually currently trading above that 60,000 level, and we're about to kind of break above that or hold above 62 consecutive weeks. So for me, that's bullish on Bitcoin. I spoke with a couple of guys and we were speaking about what potential Elliott wave we're in. So it's looking like 72 to 110,000 is likely going to happen towards the end of the year. So it's really exciting to be trading around these times. We saw ticker symbol PHUN. That was a stock that it was based on crypto gaming and crypto mining. And then we had that massive move on DWAC with that Trump SPAC. That to me is an anomaly. I want you guys to understand that doesn't happen that often, but when it does, as much as people want to say that in sympathy doesn't work, it works. So after that, a lot of stocks started to move. PHUN had news prior where they were handling their Donald Trump's campaign, and that thing caught wind, and we closed at or near the high of the day prior. And then that following morning, the stock gapped up to $7, pulled back, I think like around 6 in the morning to about $4, and then rallied and then just took off $24. This is why it's very important to follow maybe the just in case strategy. Always hold shares, right? 30%, right? That would have been an awesome move because you always want to cover what you put in as far as your initial and also your profit, because then mathematically you can't lose on the trade. It's an anomaly. You can't look at the trades, but it's a very speculative market. And what I mean by speculation is that a lot of people started selling things off, right, as far as OTCs just to catch momentum. We saw stocks like IZEA, which we mentioned that we were taking a position for a while, right? That stock held that key level. I said, watch those stocks that are holding key levels on the weekly, and IZEA traded perfectly. That's a stock that I still feel is a good stock. They are connected to DATCHAT, DATCHAT, and they actually held that $1.80 level, and it rallied and it broke out and hit a high of 320. I still like it. Did it put a little bit of a topping tail? Yes, but we actually line break. So you want to keep an eye on that $1.95 to 202, because if it pulls back, this is a great blockchain artificial intelligence stock. And why I tell you artificial intelligence is at the top of my list. If you guys follow XPeng, XPENG, they just put out these beautiful flying vehicles. They put out these news. So that could be the juice tomorrow, right? XPeng, they put out news and they just actually showed pictures of their flying hybrid vehicles. Now, how, the technology is there, artificial intelligence, AI is going to be at the forefront. I don't know how much I could tell you this, but that's going to be basically, I think that might take the cake tomorrow. If we start seeing XPeng rally huge on options or option calls volume, if you see that thing gap up, you could start seeing a potential kind of in sympathy there too, as far as EV, lithium, anything artificial intelligence. This could be big, right? So the things that I want you guys to understand is we still are in a volatile kind of market up until Halloween effect. We are in that hyper bubble as far as October 20th. We hit that key date and we're seeing the effects of that, right? A lot of people are asking me, but why? How did you know? Look, the bottom line, it's the past is the past. And now we have to emphasize on what's happening now, the present, right? So we do understand that S&P, the SPY gapped up. So this we have to take into consideration. I think on Saturday, I posted a chart or a training module on exhaustion, right? On divergence. I want you guys to pay attention to that because we gapped up 1, 2, 3 times on the S&P, and you have to understand and write this down. 4 ETFs, and I think that you can Google this. 100% of the times, gaps get filled. Okay, we don't know the timing, but gaps get filled, and you actually gapped up 3 times last week. Okay, so you have to understand that the potential for a rollover is there. Okay, a divergence is there as far as a black line into purple line. Am I saying, oh shit, the markets are gonna crash? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that there's a little bit of exhaustion there. There's a bit of around the top. The beauty is that we set this up and we took on a couple of puts heading into next week, which are really, really nice. I actually just posted it on the RSP Premium Twitter. So this is going to give us an opportunity to play both sides. Now, because we understand this, we want to keep an eye on the transports. Remember, I told you guys, keep an eye on the transports. Well, lo and behold, transports are hyperbolic. Has anybody looked at the transports? Remember what I said, gap fills get filled. Look, you just got from 14.9, you got to 15.1. Okay, and now you're trading 15,700 and you're basically overbought. The exhaustion is there, right? You didn't put in a topping tail, but you're still seeing that kind of pull away from that MACD. Black line is above the purple line, and I want you guys to understand that. So this is very, very important. Now, what I'm going to look at, right, is I'm going to look at the dollar. So I want to see what the dollar's doing. So if I go over to the UUP, I'm going to type in the UUP. I come in and we're trading below levels, right? And that's basically because the markets work inverse, right? You're threading that 34-day moving average on the UUP. You're trading below the 8-day moving average. You're trading below the 21-day moving average, right? So this is key. So we're trading below the 8, we're trading below the 21-day moving average. So the dollar is weaker. All right. So balances of probability, I'm going to say, is a potential kind of correction pullback this week. I'm still, neutral. Overall, you're seeing the 20-year treasury start to bounce. It kind of hit that 21-day moving average. So boom, it hasn't broken above it. So we're going to wait right now. So there's a little bit of indecision, but based on what we saw with Mark, ticker symbol MARK, what we saw with PHUN, and what we saw with the DCAC, I think we may have, some juice in the small caps. I did post a couple of small caps on the watch list. I posted it on RSP Premium, so you'll be able to see this. I'm going to discuss what I'm kind of looking at still. Overall, it's looking pretty strong. We're kind of on pace for that November, December Christmas rally. We know that end of October, it's the Halloween effect. There is no guarantees, but at the same time, we have the potential for that hyperbolic run towards the end of the year. Bitcoin right now, it's holding 59,000. For you guys that follow me on the community, you saw Shiba coin. That thing started rallying. A lot of people were getting out of Bitcoin and Ethereum to jump on Shiba, and you can notice it. You can notice how people trade because it's the same thing that happened with the OTCs. A lot of people got out of the OTCs. What I think next week, I think people are going to start shifting into the OTCs, and the OTCs are going to start running. So you're going to have a little bit of back and forth, a kind of duel per se. All right. So that's what I'm looking forward. The hottest thing right now is social media. And why I say social media, one, Facebook is doing a name change. I don't know, and I was talking to a couple of students about this. Whenever you do a name change, you're changing your identity. Facebook is Facebook. I don't think they need to change their identity. I remember when I used to watch the Knicks play against um, the Charlotte Hornets, and I remember when they would go in there and they would play like they would make shitload of noise with the Hive. Then, that was Larry Johnson, Muggsy Bogues, I think Alonzo Mourning, and they would go to war with each other. And then they changed their look. I think they went New Orleans Pelicans, and then they just changed it, and it was just a mess. So I think that opens it up for competition. So anything social media, I think anything marketing is gonna go. If you notice, CBMJ in sympathy to it, CBMG put out some broadcasting They're like a conservative broadcasting, and they went from 0.04 and it hit a high of 12 cents, really trading well. I think there was another stock that they pushed. I don't know how real that website was, but they pushed GBHL, which rallied really well. It I don't know if you put in a topping tail, but let me look at it. I haven't even looked at it. I know that it rallied, I think 200%. Yeah, so it put in a nasty topping tail though. It hit a high of 0.02 and then they sold it off at 6.4. But those were kind of the moves that we're getting right now. So in order to ensure that you don't get stuck, just make sure that you have a sell order. Another stock that kind of picked up steam was ticker symbol FUNN, which was in sympathy to fun. It rallied from 178 to 0.0278, and it still has a nice share structure. That's a stock that actually put out, it's a gaming stock that has revenues. So I think that that stock can still do really well. But overall, that's the type of runs that you're going to get. So one of the tips that I recommend for you guys is make sure you have your sell orders on the way up, especially for 70% of your position. Because if you start getting these high fluctuations like GBHL, you don't want to be the guy not to sell on the way up. Okay, so that's just a little tidbit of what's going on into next week. I'm adding cryptos, still very bullish on cryptos, as long as you're staying above that 21-day moving average, which is 44,000 on the weekly chart. 72 and 110 is still a target for me. So one of my favorite stocks, HIVE, is pulling back, and any, I feel like that's the Mara and the Riot of this year. I think that's going to give great opportunities for entry. So I'm just gonna go over a couple of things that I want to kind of be clear. I know that there was a lot of controversy as far as politics, where I'm not going to trade this because I don't like Trump. Don't get into that phase. Don't get emotional with these things. If you see something that has that sentiment, take the trade. This has nothing to do with politics. Your objective is to use strategy. What you do is when you trade these stocks, you're playing a game of chess. Don't get involved in the emotions, right? Emotions are the two drivers to this market, but stay balanced like the monk, right? If you see something, make sure that you take that trade. Don't get pissed off and post, oh, that's propaganda, because that's not going to do anything for you. If you look at Edward Bernays, that's the father of marketing, I think, or what do they say? Or I forget what they call it, public marketing, or whatever they call that. He basically used propaganda, right? He was I think, the nephew of Sigmund Freud. And because of him, a lot of businesses do this, right? So conservative radio, right? Conservative media. That's basically what this Trump deal is. So because I know that, we just got news on ticker symbol EPAS, which they're going to be on Newsmax, which is a huge competitor to CNN, and it's an alternative outlet, right? Conservative news, and they're going to be doing an interview with ticker symbol EPAZ. So why I say this is because follow the money, right? This is a stock that used to trade at 15 cents, and it's an easy setup, right? Don't be like, oh man, this is propaganda, and because you're bitter, it has nothing to do with this. If you notice my post, I don't really get involved. I post news, whether you like it or not. That's not the question. It's what the market is kind of feeling right now. So if you look right now, the EPAS conservative news this week's new to the street / Newsmax TV broadcast, 7 business interviews airing October 24th, 2021. And they're going to be on Showtime at 10 to 11 a.m. And it's in sympathy to Trump and the DWAC. This is a stock that traded as high as 15 cents. Stock is at 2.1, right? 0.021 with a floor of 0.018 with a master support at 0.02. So look at the upside there. It's a great risk reward. I'm not going to, not take the trade because I just don't agree with what's going on, right? If you look, they had a last article on Donald Trump about a couple of days ago on Newsmax. They're basically a supporter of his. October 24th, 2021, and it's going to start at 10 to 11 a.m. And I guess this was posted towards near the end of the day, so I didn't catch it. But now it's giving you guys a great opportunity, right? This is a stock that on the monthly is showing a wedge, right? And that's a bullish pattern. I'm not making it up. That's just what it is. It is what it is until it isn't. A low share structure, pink current, blockchain, right? Because they deal with Ethereum contracts. And right now, one of the hottest things is social media and also blockchain. So if I know that it's going to give me a great risk reward, then I take the trade. That's how I look at all this, right? So that's something that I definitely want to keep on radar for this week. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're not rushing, right? You don't want to kind of, if you did well on trades, don't give it back right now. Strategize, take your time, be patient. Rule of three, build a position on a stock, right? You're not rushing right now because overall we know we have a hyper bubble coming in. So overall, I think that this is going to be a great, strong week. I did post a training module to show you guys a chart, which is a stealth chart. I told you guys watch out for these parabolic plays that just go straight up and then do rollovers. I told you to superimpose the stocks that you're in because if you're in a rollover stock, you don't want to stay on a rollover stock because you can lose everything that you have. So just make sure that you follow your setups. What's going on, Hustle?
Hey, what's going on, Radio? How you doing tonight?
Good, good, man. I like it when somebody's there because I feel like I'm talking to myself. But I just gave over, right? A market
Yeah.
overview, just an amazing week. Money
Yep.
flowed risk on into small caps. Remember when small caps had a little bit of a drought, right? A
Yep.
lot of people were in and out like a C and a V, right? And now you're seeing that, money started flowing out of good quality OTCs, but now you're starting to see that there's a potential pullback coming, like a slingshot, right, on the overall big boards and small caps, right? Because we're seeing gaps. When I see three gaps in a week, it tells me, those gaps have to get filled. What was your take during this week? Because there was a couple of stocks, and I gave these things
Well,
cheap. Fun, we
well,
gave it what 90
y-
cents. Mark
yeah, 90
88
cents.
cents,
How
right?
high did Fun go? Fun went to what, $20? I
Fun
mean,
hit a high of $24, and a pre-market
$24.
open
Oh
of
my gosh.
$7. And
Oh
then you
my
have
gosh.
PBTS, right? Power Bridge,
Mm-hmm.
which was a blockchain stock, a miner that did very
Yep.
well for us. I think
Yep.
we did. That thing hit like $2.50 from a dollar, so that was like over 100%.
Yep.
And SOS, I remember they
Yep.
invited me on a Spaces on SOS, and everybody was complaining how shitty, the management. Oh, they're a bunch of crooks, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
who cares about that shit? It's out of floor, right? Charts
Yeah.
supersede fundamentals. Remember, what drives markets, right, is reactions to fundamentals or news, not the news or fundamentals itself. It's about
Yeah.
awareness.
Yeah. Well, you've been touching base on gap fills. I've heard you mention gap fills a couple of times, and you also mentioned that blockchain is a hot sector going into next week. Take a look at the small cap BTB, Bravo Tango Bravo, and look at the
Bravo.
chart.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that right there is it's right at a reentry level. This is a
Yep.
stock that rallied. It put in that floor like around that 90 cents level, and it's been hitting that 110, 110, 110. And
Yep.
now you're actually going to retest the 8 and 21 day moving average. This was a beautiful move for us. It went
Yeah. And look at
90
look.
cents to a
What do
dollar
you see?
20.
Yep. Yep. What do you see right there that you've been talking about? That gap. That gap, right?
Right. You have a gap, but like I said, like for small caps, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not guaranteed. For an
Right.
ETF, it's 100% guaranteed. But don't get me
Mm.
wrong. We saw CB.
Mm.
Remember, we did CRVP, and
Yep.
CRVP filled that gap at $4. Remember, everybody was hating on ticker symbol NOVN. Remember, I
Yeah.
was getting bashed on NOVN when I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
that's the Barbados." And what did that do later on? It took a
Yeah.
little bit of time, but then it filled
Just
the
takes
gap.
time.
So it
Yep.
takes a little time to fill those gaps, but
Yeah.
this is a good trade. So what I
Yep.
would do right now is if it pulls back, I'm going to use that 94 level
Okay.
that 94 level as a key level to start looking at. That's the 21-day moving average. Right
Beautiful.
now, you have a black line over purple line. So just wait until that black line gets underneath the purple line. So what I would do is I would use that 90 as a potential master support or a guide. If it closes below 90, then you're putting in and you break that kind of line break that you have. You don't want to break that line break. And what I'll do is I'll update these charts, or I'll tell Zero, if you're recording this and you're gonna post it, I'm gonna send you the post and the chart on BTB, because what we don't want this thing to do is to close below 0.009 on 2 consecutive closes. But 72,000 to 110 Bitcoin, this is not going to stay at 90 cents. This can go $2.20. The last major run that it had was $5.25. So I like this one a lot. Another one, I'm going to match this BTB. I like the CCNC. It's the same exact chart. The same exact chart as SOS, which ran, same exact chart as the BTB.
Hold on, let me write that down. What was the ticker symbol?
Next one, they're out of Hong Kong. Okay, you rallied, you broke, and you actually confirmed above that 8-day moving average. It's the CCNC code chain. Last run, when I sent this out, it hit a high of $11. $11. And right now, all you need to do is use that $1.20 as your floor. So if we see crypto start to pull back, these are going to be nice ads for a longer move. Again, these stocks will not stay. These stocks will not stay at these levels if and when crypto breaks out or Bitcoin breaks to 72 to 110, which we're still on pace. You understand me? So right now, currently, right, we kissed 59,000. I hope that people were nibbling on that pullback because now it looks like we're going to close above that 60,000. We hit a low on Bitcoin of 59,522, and we're trading at 61,200 at 8 o'clock and 12 p.m. In some places, we've already closed above 60 on 2 consecutive weeks. So we follow what it is. It is what it is until it isn't.
Yeah. So that was my question to you. If this was going to be the first week, but no, it's the second week. So that's good.
Second week, right? That's good because remember we were having trouble breaking that 60. Then we were having trouble breaking that 64,900. Then we haven't had an ETF. Now the question is the ETF going to help Bitcoin? For the most part, I don't think so. Okay, but I still feel that Bitcoin is the digital gold of our era, right? So that's the main thing. Today we had a meeting between ARK Investments, Cathie Wood, and we had Jack Dorsey and Tesla's, Elon Musk, and they were doing a webinar, and so we could see Monday morning, we could see a spike, right? Because Jack Dorsey put out a tweet and he said that inflation is an issue, digital gold, right? It's a way of a storage of value. So that's the focus. And if we hit 72 to 110K, right, especially during these times, just imagine what these crypto stocks are going to do, right? We have to prepare ourselves. That's why I think that a lot of people are not understanding. Once you confirm above that 64,900, that's clear sailing. You close above 64,900. There's no resistance above. And guys who play, I see Joe Kaz here, he knows. Once you break a 52-week high and there's no resistance, it's basically like you're in a football field and you got the entire field to just run. No defenders to block you, unless you're like an idiot and you trip over, But it's going to be a clear sailing. So I'm excited for it. This is probably the easiest trade for us, Ethereum and Bitcoin, into the end of the year. So I think that we're gonna do real good.
Yeah, another sector that I think is gonna do well next week in sympathy to the I think it was FRSX is the EV and lithium. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely. So and I don't think you guys know the latest news. Do me a favor, if you're right by your computer, type in Xpeng, okay? Xpeng Motors, and click on that, guys, if you guys can't do that right now. Xpeng Motors. I think this is gonna be the juice tomorrow. I think you're locked on. Click on that 1 hour. It was just posted 1 hour ago. Look at the second post. This is crazy. This is crazy. If this is real,